Yeah, it's live. Alright, I'm waiting for people to join. So I'm gonna post on my own Facebook that I'm live. Just gonna wait for people to join.
I mean, people will watch it in rerun, so
Yeah.
So if you want to start talking about some things.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about the challenges that I've had because I've had a lot of people talk, tell me like, oh, it's really great that you have it all figured out, and they ask me all these questions like I have all the answers, and even though I know a lot, it comes from having gone through all these challenges, and even today I go through a lot of big issues and challenges, and I don't always know how to help myself. Just recently, I've gone through huge anxiety and um, went through a lot of pain because of it. Because when I have anxiety, I get constipated, and that's something I've struggled with my whole life. And it's really, really painful. And I've been fighting defense mode and depression. Um, just uh, recently, there's just been something that has really gotten me down with my chronic fatigue and with um, my autism, and I've been depressed about that. And even when I went to Seattle, there was like this little spur of happiness, of excitement and energy that I got, and the whole time I was feeling like I didn't want this to end and was worried when it was going to end and when all that, those feelings were going to come back. And it was um, like I wanted to enjoy that. And it, like, there was anxiety about being happy. Um, so I just wanted to share because I know if you follow my Facebook and autism, I share a lot about the successes, but there's also struggles that come with having autism and having all the things that I have. And there are really happy moments, and there's also um, really hard things that I go through.
The volume is low. Is there?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, talk louder.
I guess I could talk louder. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I know that's important. So if anyone has any, hi Lillian. If anyone has any questions, I'd love to do a Q&A. If not, I can try to come up with more to talk about.
Hi, Dara.
Hi, Dara. So Dara is my friend from college, and I'm gonna go visit her in a few weeks. And I know she struggles with anxiety, and that's something I know we connect over. I miss you. I don't see a question. Yeah, so I have a fear of doctors and the dentist, and I have a huge dentist thing coming up where they have to do the whole thing in my mouth because of cavities and stuff, and it's just caused me a lot of anxiety. I don't trust doctors and like really anyone of authority, but especially doctors, because in the past there's been a lot of situations that weren't handled correctly and have given me a lot of anxiety around that area. And I know that's true for a lot of the autism community with the touching and with the sensory overload, and just like how the medical community doesn't always know how to interact with people who are different and have that fear. But I have a really nice dentist now who's working really nicely with me, but I just have a lot of memories of dentists just not listening to me when I said I've had enough, I don't like that. And so those feelings come back when I go to the dentist and the doctors. And I get really worried that they're gonna do something without permission. That they're not gonna stop when I say please stop. But I definitely feel a little bit more respect from the person I'm working with now. But I know like in general that's really challenging, but then when you add, well, if you do something, it'll cause a sensory overload. There's a whole nother panic attack that happens. So it's caused, I'm really anxious about the future of how that's gonna all go down. that's been on my mind a lot recently. So I think it's important that people in these, not just doctors, but people are going to interact in general with the autistic community, the atypical community, that they are educated on how to handle what to do when they're working with someone like me. And that's really important, so that people don't have this fear, because it doesn't need to be there. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, yeah, anxiety is very common for those on the spectrum and those with atypical minds. It's I think it's because we're almost dismissed as our behavior, even though it's clearly telling you no, it's not listened to. The stimming, the meltdowns, all of that is saying, please stop, I'm not comfortable. And we're told, no, don't do that, instead of being listened to. That is me feeling overwhelmed and a signal to stop. I'm very unhappy right now. And that's often, so when you say do not do that right now, it's telling me that it's not okay to say no. And that gives that feeling of anxiety that I'm not going to be listened to, when it's important that I am listened to, that my boundaries are not being listened to, and that they won't be listened to. So I think it's important that those signals are interpreted correctly and are dealt with respectfully.
Can you ask how the video quality is for everyone? Because you just went a little wonky on my phone.
How's the video quality for everyone?
It's back to normal.
Theirs is better. Did
Yeah,
it go out for a second? My
yeah,
internet at my house is really bad. We've been trying to get it fixed, but we've had people come and they've made it worse. But I'll repeat a little bit.
I think it was just the video. You could hear it, I believe. You could hear it here.
So when I think that the anxiety comes from not being listened to, where signals such as meltdowns and stimming are often clear signals of me saying, no, this is a boundary, please stop, I'm not comfortable. And when that's ignored, I'm told, no, you're not allowed to say no, you're not allowed to tell me to stop, that my voice isn't important, that my boundaries aren't important. And so that anxiety happens because I'm afraid I'm not going to be listened to when I say enough is enough, I can't handle anymore. I'm afraid that isn't going to be enough to stop whatever's making me uncomfortable. So Wendy says you're spot on. So many adults in his life, I'm assuming your child's life, would dismiss his feelings, and after a while, you tend to shut yourself out from the world. Yeah. So I definitely like I actually had selective mutism for a while because I was afraid of saying anything wrong because I felt like every time I spoke, I was told, no, you're wrong, you can't say that, you're misinterpreted what I said. And so I only spoke when I felt completely confident that what I was going to say was correct and that I trusted the person I was speaking to. So I just stopped talking because I felt like it no one was going to listen anyway, and it was less hurtful to not put myself out there and be rejected than to hold myself back and not share my thoughts and feelings. And today, it I have more of a regret when not speaking because of that, where I'm not afraid to make a mistake because I'd rather speak up because there were a lot of situations that I didn't speak up in, and I think that changed when I got out of defense mode. But I just have a little bit more of that I don't care what people think I'm doing, what makes me happy, instead of worried about everyone else's happiness before my own. And I still feel like I have a lot to work on in that area. But it's a little bit better, and I feel much more whole than I did then. My mom's over here. That's why I keep looking over there.
I'm letting Chloe go solo tonight.
Yeah. We don't have any more anxiety stories.
All right, you can hear me. So, do you guys like when we do these video chats? Because we love your feedback, and we can do more. Is it helpful? Let us know. Would you like us to schedule them once a week? So, okay, just let us know.
Any struggles with work? I mean, one part of work that I do with, I guess with anything, but I've been told because I do film that networking is really important. And for me, I really have anxiety over meeting strangers because when I meet a new person, I never know what their boundaries are, and everyone's really different with how they interact, and I never know the rules, and so it's really scary meeting someone new where I don't know if I'm going to say something offensive, if I'm going to do something wrong. And I put on more of my masking because I've been misinterpreted. I don't naturally smile that much, and I'm told I have a resting sad face. And so when I don't smile, there's like more of a negative vibe, I guess I give off, and so I do more of my masking in those situations when I get nervous and anxious, which um, seems to help in those situations. But I get a lot of anxiety. When I went to a concert a couple weeks ago, my parents got me a meet and greet, and I had so much anxiety over meeting the singer because it was a stranger I hadn't met, and it was really scary to me. And like we didn't even talk. He just like shook my hand, took a picture, and it just caused me to be so anxious while I was waiting to see him. And luckily, I had my sister with me. I don't know what I would do if I was by myself. Um, yeah, so that can rile me up. Wendy says, "You two give me hope. Yes, I do love these chats. I'm determined to get my son involved with this platform and also attend an Asperger's Experts workshop. Yes, 1 dozen a day a week would be great." Um, oh, Danny Rady's here from Asperger Experts. Speaking of Asperger Experts.
And we've attended.
Yeah, I went to one of the workshops for getting out of defense mode. But I did the retreat before that, so I kind of did it backwards. My sister and my mom went to one before me, and then told me like I have to go to this retreat, and so I met him at the retreat, and then I went to the Getting Out of Defense Mode lecture, and it was really cool to meet all the people. Like it's definitely so interesting how in that space with he makes it feel so safe to be yourself, where with I was sitting at this table and we seemed to like all bond really well at this workshop, and at the beginning all these young adults were really afraid to say anything, and by the end everyone was like, without raising their hand, they were talking and really speaking their mind, and standing up and running around and just being themselves. And it was really cool to see that. Where in most spaces I've been in, it feels really uncomfortable for anyone to be themselves, let alone someone with autism. And so it's really rare experience where it felt that comfortable. So I highly recommend doing that. And so you'll see that change, and then you like his teachings will bring that out at home and with you. But I think that workshop shows a lot of like how quickly it can work, because you're doing all of his teachings right there in that room.
It was life-changing for our family.
Yeah.
And we are honored to call Danny our friend.
Yes.
And to be, sharing his work and working with him and collaborating with him. It's fabulous. We were blessed to have him in our life.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Grandma. Thanks for joining.
Well, Wendy, we will put this on our schedule.
Yeah.
I think it's something we enjoy doing. Oh, you're very welcome.
You're welcome, Danny.
And we're honored that you come and join us.
Yeah.
Really, really. Well, is there any more questions?
Is there a few more questions, or I'm probably going to end this soon. All right. Thanks for joining me. Check out more of our OurTism in my blog, and follow me on Facebook, where I'll post a lot of my writings there, so you can find out more about my stuff. And hopefully we'll figure out a way to do this regularly, so it's not always a surprise. All right. Good night, everyone. Have a colorful day.